Hey guys, I'm Becca, aka Not Your Average Nails. I'm not super used to being in front of the camera. I'm a lot more comfortable behind it, so if this is a little bit awkward, I'm sorry. But I really wanted to just make a video to say thank you to all of you guys for subscribing. Hitting 100k subscribers kind of feels like a dream to me. It's not really something that I thought was going to happen when I started this channel, but it's definitely appreciated. I always like to see all of the comments and encouraging messages on my video. You guys don't know how much they really do encourage me to keep doing what I love doing. And I'm just really thankful to all of you guys that because of you, I can keep doing what I love to do. So thank you, thank you, thank you so much. I'm really, really appreciative. I wanted to make this video so that I could get to know you guys a little bit better. You guys could get to know me a bit better, because I know right now, basically all you're seeing of me is my nails. And obviously that's what you guys want to see. But I thought this might be fun to just kind of get to know each other a little bit better and all that great stuff. So I'd asked you guys to leave me questions on my Instagram and my YouTube page. All of my social media will be down in the description below, but I got a ton of questions from you guys and I kind of separated them into nail related questions and K-pop related questions. So I'll start off by answering all of the nail questions and then kind of roll into K-pop from there. So the first question that I got was a really common one. A lot of different people asked this, and it was, when did you start doing nail art? How many years have you been doing this? And what inspired you to do nails? So my mom always used to paint my nails for me when I was younger. And in elementary school, I don't know what grades elementary school is for you guys, but I went to a JK to 8 school, so this was probably around grade 7 or 8, so I was 12 or 13. I always used to have my nails painted a solid color. But then I started getting more into doing actual nail art in high school. So I think I had just been scrolling through Tumblr or something and I'd seen some nail art photos and I was like, I can do that. So I just decided to go for it, and I did. I started out with color blocking, kind of more simple things, and then kind of just kept challenging myself to do more, to do better, and it kind of escalated from there. So I think I really started getting into nail art in around 2011, but I started blogging about it in 2012, so I've been doing this for about 6 to 7 years now. So the second question was, how do you make your nail art, and when and where did you learn it? So I'm a self-taught artist. I haven't went to school for this or anything. It's just me teaching myself. When I started out, I used to watch a lot of video tutorials and just look at other artists' work and just figure out how to copy them myself. But if you are just starting out and you are recreating other artists' designs, always remember to credit them. It's just the right thing to do. It's nice to be able to give them credit, because I know I work really hard on my designs and put a lot of time into them, and I know a lot of other artists do as well. The next question was, how do you come up with your nail designs and what's kind of your process behind them? So it kind of depends for me on what kind of design I'm doing. If I'm doing a K-pop design, I'll usually rewatch the music video over and over and over and over and over again and try and figure out something from there. If I don't have enough content from that, I'll usually look at other album related material. So I'll look at the album cover, I'll look at teaser photos, sometimes I'll even move into live stages just to kind of get a better idea of the concept and how I can work it into a design. For non-K-pop designs, a lot of the times I'll just scroll through Pinterest and just look for cute prints and graphics and stuff that I can make into a nail design. Sometimes I'll look through fashion runways, because there's always a ton of inspiration in fashion, and I definitely get inspired by other artists on Instagram as well. As for the process, again, it kind of depends on what kind of design I'm doing. So if I'm doing a non-K-pop design, if it's pretty simple and I kind of know how I want it to look, I won't bother sketching it out or anything beforehand. I'll just get right into it and start painting. But for more complicated designs, and this usually includes all of my K-pop designs, I will sketch it out beforehand. So I'll watch the music video once or twice all the way through without pausing, just to get a good idea of what's going on, kind of think about some ideas of scenes that I want to use in the design. And then I'll watch it again and again and again, and I'll pause it this time and I'll sit down and sketch some designs from some of the scenes. So I usually end up with more design sketched out than what is actually needed for the full design itself. So from there, I have a friend, Joanne, who helps me with a lot of my designs, and I'll sketch out what I think I want to do for the design. I'll send it over to her. If she agrees with me that it looks good, A+, I get to start painting. If not, we'll usually debate about it, try and figure out what can be changed, and go through. If we need to sketch more scenes, then I will, and we just refine it to make it the best that it possibly can be for you guys. So the next question is, how long does it usually take you to paint your nails? So again, I kind of feel like I'm saying this for every question, but it kind of depends. If it's a more simple design, like the finger hearts tutorial that I did a few weeks ago, that one I think only took me like an hour to paint completely, not including drying time. But for most K-pop designs, obviously there's a lot of time that goes into planning that takes forever, but for straight painting, it probably takes an hour for the nail polish to just do like the base colors and to let it dry. And then it'd usually take about an hour per nail, depending on how intricate they are. I will usually take breaks between painting nails though, just because it gets a little bit tiring. My back starts to hurt just from like, from leaning over the desk and stuff. So when everything gets kind of stretched out, it usually takes me an entire day for painting. That's not just painting time. If we're looking at just painting time, then probably 5-6 hours for a more complicated design. The next question is, how do you clean your cuticles and fix your mistakes? So I clean my cuticles with a brush dipped in acetone. So this is the acetone that I use. One of my friends buys it for me from a professional nail store because she needs a nail tech certification to buy anything from there, and I do not have one, so I get her to buy it for me. And the brush that I use, I've been using this brush for quite a few years now. It's not really the best brush for cleaning up your cuticles because it's a little bit too thick. But it was pretty cheap. I picked it up at just like an art store near my house. And I've been using it for a few years. I say it's not the best, but it's worked for me for a few years, so not that bad if you want to just pick up a brush at your local store. The thing to just look for if you're looking to buy just a regular paintbrush, you want it to be kind of stiff so that when you're going around your nails, it doesn't just like flop all over. I also recently got a new cuticle cleanup brush, which is actually supposed to be a cuticle cleanup brush. It's made specifically for that. I got this one for Christmas from Mitty Burns. It's awesome. It's a lot thinner, so it's a lot easier to clean up around the cuticles. And like I said with the last one, it is pretty stiff, so it's easy to just go around the cuticle and clean it up, dipped in acetone, and just remove any polish that you don't want to be there. In terms of fixing mistakes, it's not super professional, but what I usually do is if I kind of paint a little bit out of where I want the line to be, I'll use the thumbnail on my other hand to kind of just like push the polish back to where I want it to be. If you don't have super long nails, then I think what would be the best option to fix any mistakes is to just take a little bit of polish that's the base color and just paint over the mistake. Okay, so next question was, what are some of your favorite or most used nail art hacks? I'm not sure if I really use any hacks. Definitely use a peel-off base coat if you're using a glitter polish. It's a complete lifesaver, and that way you don't have to scrub at your nails with acetone and dry everything out. You can just peel it right off and you're good to go. If you're doing something with glitter polish, always sponge it on instead of painting it straight on, because then you'll get a lot more glitter and it'll be covered and it'll look more like it looks like in the bottle. If you're doing anything with sponges, glitter, gradients, anything like that, always put a peel-off base coat or liquid latex around your nail as well, because again, it just makes cleanup a lot easier. One of the best hacks that I personally use all the time, I saw it, I think, from John T. Julie's channel. If you're doing any kind of gradient, anything with a sponge, before using the sponge, take a piece of tape and just use the tape to get any dust or hair or whatever off the sponge so that it doesn't end up in your gradient. On the topic of gradients, if I'm painting something over top of a gradient, I'll usually top coat the nail first, and that way if I make any mistakes on whatever I'm painting over it, I can use a brush dipped in acetone to really gently just kind of erase the mistake, and that way you can fix the mistake without ruining the nail polish underneath. So another question that I get all the time is, how do you do the other hand? So short answer to that question, I don't. I kind of gave up painting this hand a few years ago. It's not that I can't, it's just that when I've already spent over 5 hours on this hand, I am honestly just super tired and don't want to paint this hand. I'm also not photographing it, so it doesn't matter a ton to me. With that being said, I could paint this hand if I really wanted to. I have in the past done designs that went over both hands. So tips for painting this hand, I would honestly, it really is just practice, because I'm not ambidextrous. I know this hand is obviously going to be worse, so that's something that's actually that really helped me in actually doing this hand a lot better, is just accepting that it's not going to be as good as this hand. I'm not saying don't challenge yourself to make it really great, but just accepting that it wasn't going to be as good helped me to not stress about it. Another tip is just, if you're painting this hand, to rest this wrist on a table so that it's stable, and to not tense your hand up, because I find that when your hand is tense, it shakes a lot more, so it just makes it harder to paint overall. So the next question is, what other nail art channels do you watch? Now, honestly, I don't really watch a lot of nail art channels. I follow a lot of nail artists on Instagram, but I don't really watch a lot of videos unless I'm specifically looking for how-to videos on how to do a specific technique. With that being said, recently I've started watching Cute Polish again because I'm part of the team there now. Nina Nailed It also has a lot of great videos for a lot of different techniques, so definitely check her channel out. I definitely have a lot of nail artists that I love on Instagram though, so if you want to check them out, I really love Nina Nailed It. I really love Lexa from Glitter Fingers, Anya from Live 91, Eva from Cowless Polish. They're all such amazing artists and they inspire me all the time. Oh, and Nail Unistella. She amazing nail art. I always love seeing her really cool designs, so definitely check her out. As for other YouTube channels, I watch a lot more bloggers and stuff. So some of the channels that I watch a lot, I watch Jerry Kamel, I watch Megan Bowen, I watch Korean Englishman, all really great channels, love watching them all the time. So I have gotten asked this one a few times, will you paint someone's nails if they're willing to pay? I currently don't have my nail tech certification, so I should probably get that before doing anyone else's nails, so get back to me with that one once I've gotten my nail tech certification, and we'll see. So I kind of grouped the next two together. The first one, what's the most frustrating nail art design you've ever done? Okay, so it's actually super recent, and you probably wouldn't guess it just from looking at it because it looks perfectly fine, but the process behind designing the Oh My Girl design that I recently did for their comeback Magic Garden, it was so frustrating. It was so frustrating to design. I think it took my friend Joanne and I like 3 days of debating every evening on what to do for this design to put this thing together. I have no clue why it was so difficult. I think it might have been because they had like a pastel theme going on, but then they'd throw in like a dark purple galaxy, and it was just really hard to balance the two aesthetics in the video, and I don't know, it took forever. It was so frustrating. But I really like Oh My Girls, so wanted to get that done for them. But yeah, that was stressful. Some other ones that were frustrating: For Life, EXO's For Life design, that was frustrating. Most of it I had planned. 4 out of the 5 nails were perfectly fine. I knew what I was doing for them. But the 5th nail, the pinky, I think, again, it took like 3 of us, like 3 days worth of debates to figure out what to do on the pinky nail. And I think I tried out like 4 different things before settling on the light bulb. And I really love how the light bulb looks, and honestly, I love that design, but yeah, the process behind that one was super frustrating as well. In terms of actually making the design, I think the most frustrating one that I've ever done was for SNSD You Think music video. I decided that it was a super great idea to try to connect jump rings with striping tape. Long story short, not a good idea, would not recommend. I was super frustrated the whole time because the tape ended up not being sticky enough to actually stick to itself, so it kept coming undone. It was just so small trying to work with it, and I loved how the design ended up looking at the end, but putting it together, super frustrating. And as a contrast to that, the next question is, what was your favorite nail art design? So, this is probably kind of surprising if you've looked at my designs. There's probably other ones that you guys like a lot better. But my personal favorite design ever is actually my Taeyeon Y inspired design. I honestly don't know why. I just really love how everything worked together with that, with like the blue from the water matching the blue in the thumb, and the sheer polish with the rainbow and the compass. I don't know, it just really worked well for me, and it's just, I really love that design. Other ones, I feel like they're also kind of surprising. I know I just talked about For Life being super frustrating to design, but I really love how it turned out, so that's another one of my favorites. And then one that I actually did in 2013, so a really long time ago, but I still really love how it came out, was a set of map nails that I did. And I think I had used either watered down acrylics or watercolors or something to kind of make it look old, but it was super nice, and I still really love how it looks. So the next question, can you do a video on how you film your nail tutorials? This is actually a question that I've gotten asked a few times, so if that's something you guys are interested in, then I can definitely think about how to film that, because I'd have to have the camera I usually film with on the tripod so that you can see what the camera looks like when I'm filming, but I can probably film it with my phone or something. So yeah, I can try and put together a video like that for you guys. And then another question about making videos. Can you make a video showing how to shape your nails into different shapes? I do currently have a video on how I shape my nails into this shape, kind of like an almond stiletto hybrid, whatever. So I do have a video on that. If you guys are interested in me doing a video showing you how to do like square, round, I guess the shape again as well, I can do that if that's something you guys want. So yeah, just let me know in the comments below if you want to see a video like that, and I'll put one together. So this one's a question that I get all the time, not just for this video, but it's, can you do blank video? And usually the blank is a K-pop group, whatever song they have that's come out recently or not so recently. The answer to this is generally maybe. I'm definitely open to doing lots of different groups, but it kind of just depends on my schedule, because I'm still a student, so I'm in school right now, I'm on an internship, I'm doing blog stuff that I was planning on doing, I'm doing videos for Cute Polish now, so I've got a lot on my plate. I'm not always able to keep up with all of the comebacks, so I kind of have to pick and choose, and honestly, like most people, I'm kind of biased towards groups that I follow, so I usually prioritize them over other groups that I don't follow as much for doing designs. So if I haven't done a group that you're really into yet, I'm sorry, and maybe in the future. It really depends on what my schedule looks like. Okay, so this question's a little bit long, so just excuse me while I look down to read it. So there's kind of 3 questions in one here. Do you record your videos in one take, or do you practice beforehand? Have you ever planned to expand your channel? And please do a legendary K-pop design. So I actually do paint all of my designs off camera before I film the tutorials. It's really difficult to see what I'm doing when I'm filming, actually. So I do like to paint them off camera beforehand. It just lets me make them cleaner and I can actually see what I'm painting. And it also lets me try out different ways of painting things so that I can see if the way that I originally thought something should be painted is too difficult, if maybe I should try it a different way in the tutorial so that's easier for you guys to follow along. And then the second part of that question was about if I was ever planning on expanding my channel and if I was ever going to show my face. So you're seeing my face now, but yeah, if that's something you guys are interested in, again, just let me know if there's any kind of content or videos that you guys want to see that's not just strictly nail tutorials. I'm open to suggestions, so if this isn't too awkward for you and you want to listen to me doing other stuff as well that's not nails, just let me know in the comments and we'll see where it goes. And the last part of that question was about doing a design based on legendary K-pop groups and K-pop songs. I generally try and keep the designs that I do pretty current because they all technically fall into what I consider my comeback series. But with that being said, maybe I will try and do some kind of legendary K-pop series in the future. So that's all I have for nail art related questions. I was going to put the K-pop questions in this video as well, but it's getting a little bit long, so I think I'm going to make that video on its own. When that gets released, I'll put the link in the description below so you can check that out as well. Thank you so much for listening to all of these Q&As, and I hope it helped you guys get to know me a little bit better. And again, thank you so much for subscribing, and just thank you. And as always, thanks for watching.